Alright guys, we're back again for yet another Bleach Brave Souls video, and in less than 24 hours time, the new 1000-year blower banner for part 2 of the anniversary is going to drop. So by the time this banner will be out, part 1 of the anniversary, being Kenpachi and Grammy, is pretty much going to be gone. So if you guys want my honest incentive, I still recommend you guys summon more so on part 1 than part 2, because there's just way better value to go on about. Grammy is still the best character in the game. Kenny is also a close number 2 at the end of the day, and the filler pool is just a lot better than part 2 overall for when it comes to the choice of characters. Like, you have yourself a better filler pool. The 8th anniversary characters, you even have characters like Valentine's Day Ruruka, Christmas Neliel, GQ NAD units to use overall, and the overall banner is that much better compared to part 2's banner, which is going to be dropping in less than 24 hours from now. But if you guys are done summoning, then you guys can pretty much go ahead and summon directly on part 2, which by all means, the characters are pretty good. It's just that one of them is a brave battle character, and you guys might not enjoy the game mode as much, and one of them is a solid character, but is pretty much flawed for the longevity of the game, which I'm gonna dive into. This is a 1000-year blower banner, meaning that besides the main banner being out, which is going to be available starting from the 31st up until August 15th, we're also going to get individual banners for each and every character. That being said, these individual banners, you pretty much want to use it as a last resort to get the final character that you're missing, or to even potentially pull duplicates of them just to be able to get them 5/5. And you're only going after the main character you want, because all of the fillers on all 3 individual banners are pretty bad, except for Sajin having Yami to some certain degree. He can be really useful in Guild Quest with pairing up with Yuha in the Melee No Affiliation Guild Quest, but that's really about it. You're almost never going to be using these characters. This Heart Ginjo is still a great solid support for Valentine's Day Ruruka, but at that point we just need a new powerful human unit for Heart at that point for Guild Quest, because Valentine's Day Ruruka has been replaced by Grammy. But that's just pretty much about it. Use these banners as a last resort, because all 3 of them are just genuinely terrible. And if you guys look at the overall fillers, it's not as good as part 1. It really isn't, because you only have one really amazing, spectacular filler, being Ichido Unohana, and a whole year later, she is still among the top 5 best units in the game, hands down, and we're going to go ahead and dive into why once we talk about the fillers. You have Yama and Chojo also returning. Chojo's still a solid farmer. Yama fallen off from Brave battles. Uri returns again, and he's a super potion farmer. Yuha, he's dead now because of Sajin. And then you have 4 resurrectable 1000-year blower characters from freaking 2018, 2019, which isn't even that good. Like, I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this selection of characters, when they could have brought in more older 1000-year blower characters that are, you know, from round 15 onward. It makes no sense to me. But yeah, like I stated before, the banner at the end of the day is going to be part 1, and that's going to be leaving. So if you guys haven't done any summons on that, I recommend doing so more on that than this one. Whereas this banner, it's just mainly 1000-year blower characters, and it's mainly going to be more limited, even though the part 1 banner is going to be, you know, mainly premiums and seasonals, but you'll get better value out of that than this banner. But now let's just talk about all 3 of the characters. The best in banner is easily going to be this Hollow Bankai Toshiro, because he is going to be the main GQ unit that we need for Stern Ritter Killer. Ranged Stern Ritter Killer currently has no main lead. It only has a NAD unit, being the Swimsuit Candace, and that's really just about it, because the only other respectable main lead is Nanao, and she doesn't even have the SP boost to even warrant her to be really good in guild quests. So having a character like Toshiro in your box will provide value for that GQ rotation. And then he also has no affiliation killer. If you do not have Macy, this character is going to be able to replace Macy for the ranged no affiliation counterpart, and overall is going to age better over time, because this guy is massively insane. He is the second hard character to get strong attack damage of 20% with recharge minus 12%. I kind of wished he were a mine character, just so that way we could complete the entire attributes, but it is what it is. And then his skills are fantastic. Like, I've got nothing to say about this. He has Havoc of 20%, Spurner +1, Sharpshooter, and then comes with Frenzy +2, Berserker 50. Keep in mind, it's 70% thanks to the Soul trait as well. Also, it's a crazy nuker for no reason. Like, they could have easily given him Rampage, but it is what it is. Devastation of 50%, Bombardment, and Weakened Defense with Double Tear of +5 seconds, damage to frozen enemies. Oh yeah, 100% damage to frozen enemies, let's specify that. And also has Team Party, Heart Attribute Soul Reaper damage to status element affected enemies of +40%, increased status element chance against Quincy's and no affiliation mobs. Also has Long Stride, complete status immunity, and 80% SP boost. This character is competing for the #1 spot between Kenpachi and Grammy, and I think this character is still really close. I think if they gave him a much better kit and a better EX move like Remy, I think this character would have been easily better than both of the anniversary characters. Because if you guys want to know his kit, he has a 3k length beam on the SA1. SA2 is going to be a vacuum into explosion. So he has the SA3 of 5th anniversary Byakuya, but as an SA2, and then he has a regular full screen attack. He has an EX move as well, but plants a trap. Which, don't get me wrong, it's still really good. You have a secondary option of being able to inflict status ailments and being able to get the 140% damage to frozen enemies. Actually, matter of fact, because they're separate multipliers, it's gotta be multiplicative, no? Yeah, you're gonna do a lot more damage than just 140%, but you guys get the point. And it's a bit of a shame that he did not pick up Frenzy +3 and picked up Frenzy +2, but I'm not complaining. This is still gonna be a really good character, and I do think that he's the best heart unit in the game currently, surpassing True Shikai and Kilgate overall. But now, going into the next character, Sajin is going to be the Brave Battle character. They, for whatever reason, decided to balance him out, not give him Pierce through Persistence, and let's say you pull this character, Orihime is still going to be a really toxic character in the meta, so we don't have an appropriate full-on Orihime killer yet, but if anything, this character is going to be killing off buffs and debuffs for both the Heart and Mind characters, and that is why both the past Yamamoto and the Heart Yuha is getting completely killed off because of this guy right here. His killers are Sternritter and Captain Killer, and this is also really good because we don't have an updated Sternritter killer besides the last ones being the 1000-Year Blower Chad, Kanfuron with Tsukishima, and the Spirits Are Forever With You Yama. So seeing another NAD unit with this, you can use this character in Gale Quest, and you can get away with doing so because guess what? This guy has Flurry +3 permanently. Unfortunately, no base Bruiser for PvE content, but he does have a lot more perks to him for Brave Battles, and that's why he's a Brave Battle character. So yeah, he has Burn +1, is immune to Paralysis, and also has Marauder, meaning he has both Guard Break and Nullify melee resistance. So yeah, like I stated before, Flurry +3 also has Long Reach fun enough with Poise, Brave Battle, Temporary Invincibility, Ignore Brave Battle and Invincibility, with Pierce Barrier, can prevent Last Ditch, decrease damage taken of 50%, Brave Battle's only Persistence, increase normal attack damage of 60% when at half stamina, and then the new skill that completely screws over Yuha and Yama. So yeah, he's just a balanced PvP character, but for the Sternritter Guild quest, if you do not have any better side unit to use, this Sajin can actually provide some value to your account. It's very unfortunate though that his remake is literally the same as the OG one. They made him into a normal attacking character that is a Brave Battle again. Like, what the hell were they thinking? Like, if it were me, I'd actually keep the Marauder, but swap the skills in between either Toshiro and Soi Fon and make him the SP character. Like, come on, give this Sajin so much justice because he had a really good fight in his final moments in the 1000-Year Blower arc, and he was done dirty. Yet again, I don't like that. That being said, as a melee NAD character, I am definitely going to say that he is among the best that there is because his normal attack damage string is, you know, gonna have that last hit similar to the OG one, where he has a lot more reach and can actually attack enemies from afar, and also has the Walking Vortex, and has a similar kit to the White Zangetsu, if you guys are familiar with that character from all those years ago. So yeah, that's the only pointers. It's just that he needed a bit more stuff, and I wish he weren't a Brave Battle character, but it is what it is. And then Soi Fon, I nitpicked this character a lot, and it's mainly due to the fact that she doesn't have guard break, and it's a big issue because this is a limit breaker quest character, and in the long run, unless you pair her up against melee or Ronkars where they don't have melee guard, when she's up against enemy mobs where they do have guard, she is going to get her first hits completely reduced and isn't going to be too crazy effective, and you do not inflict status elements with the SA2 because she is a boosting attack character. So there's that. That being said, she does have Human Killer Plus, so for GQ she's going to do insane damage right across the bat, and has an EX move which is basically a mega lunge forward towards the enemy mobs. I do actually kind of like it, but at the same time, I wish that she were boosting directly on the EX move like Remy. Remy took way better advantage of the EX move than Soi Fon. I'm not kidding. Has strong attack creatures time of minus 14%, 5 flash steps with long stride, and also has full stamina only reduced strong attack cooldown of 6%, which does help complement the SA2 because instead of it being a 20-second cooldown time, it is now 16 seconds. Even then, it's still absurdly long, and you cannot inflict ailments with the SA2 once again. Defeated enemy bonus, she gets 20% stamina recovery upon defeating 20, 30% full stamina upon defeating 40, and then 60, you get yourself strong attack recharge of 20% when moving in between quest areas for the entire team, regardless of the attribute. So for Limit Breaker quest, this would actually be amazing. Amazing, because you just give the entire party cooldowns back when moving in between the quest areas. Because let's say by stage 5 I am using Toshiro. After I have killed 60 enemy mobs after stage 4, in stage 5 where I'm using Toshiro, I use up all of my strong attacks. By stage 8, I'll already have all of my strong attacks for Toshiro ready to be used again. And he's a heart character. And then the skills, she has Frenzy plus 2, Berserker 60, Havoc of 20%, Devastation 60%, increased element chance against humans, Debilitator of plus 5 seconds, Enhancer and Booster Paralysis Immunity, full stamina damage boost of 20%, and 80% SP boost. So yeah, they made her into a guild quest Limit Breaker hybrid character, and sadly she does have flaws in the long run already. Not being able to inflict ailments on the SA2 is bad. She also does not provide any type of protection for your NAD units for guild quests. And in Limit Breaker quest, right now, this upcoming one, which is going to be dropping directly on August 1st, she is going to be, for the most part, fine unless they have implemented the few human mobs that do have melee guard. But next time you use her in Limit Breaker quest, anything that isn't melee or Ronkars where they don't have melee guard, Soi Fon is going to struggle. And it's sad that K-Lab is not delaying the banner just to get that fixed up, but it is what it is, man. I just find it to be ridiculously bad that they decided to go for this for Soi Fon. But yeah, that's all 3 of the main characters. Toshiro is definitely the prize of the banner. If you get Soi Fon, good for the upcoming Nightmare melee human that is going to be dropping. And then Sajin, he's going to be a good Brave Battle character to use overall and will provide value for guild quests. So that's pretty much about it. Now let's talk about the main banner fillers. Do we even need to talk about this character? She is still ridiculously good a whole year later, and upon coming out, until Very Hard Guild Quest was implemented, she just became numero uno best character in the game. She was the very first character to pick up Rampage, meaning that once you have killed 50 enemy mobs, you would get 100% damage to all of your attacks, and Soul Bomb included. Also was very fast and speedy with Frenzy plus 2, full stam 20%, an extra 20% strong attack damage as well, complete status immunity, devastation of plus 40% with Debilitator, Havoc, Long Stride, Marauder, Poise, 80% SP boost. You had weakening on the entire kit, and also plants a trap mechanic on the SA3. A lot of people, when they first saw that and saw the trap, they were like, oh nah, that's not good. But hey, guess what? This skill complemented the SA3 entirely, making the SA3 only having 14-second cooldown time compared to your typical 17, which is what the Spirits Are Forever With You Mayuri had. But that also helped out with the SA1 and SA2 coming back a lot faster. And to make matters even better, 20% stamina recovery and sprint +2. And the kit was amazing! 3k length beam, 870 radius lunge, and then the 1170 into trap. You cannot go wrong with that. She was the best character for her time, and she still is! Right now she's competing with the new 9th anniversary 1000-year blower Kenpachi, and she still holds up nicely, and you're still gonna get some value out of max transcending this character for both melee Soul Reaper and melee Captain. This character is capable of getting 50 seconds remaining once you get her nicely duped up, and you have the Akon and Shinji characters that can help provide more damage to this character. This character is just one of the best characters in the game and is going to still age really, really well as time goes on. Toshiro, there isn't really much to talk about this character because he is strictly a farmer, because he is able to farm droplets, is a 30% droplet link, and also farms regular potions of +5. But he's a solid character at the end of the day. He does have Frenzy +2. He still has 40% damage to paralyzed enemies with the technique attribute Soul Reaper damage status element affected enemies of +40%. This skill is pretty much dead now because nuking has been pretty much gone from the meta, but you do give other technique characters special move damage of 30% and also has devastation of 60%, so he can also be quite solid for when it comes to nuking. Also guarantees droplets, so there's that. Has paralysis on the entire kit, and his kit is pretty much the same as Lisa. By that I mean he has the shotgun blast on the SA1, SA2 is going to be the suction vortex, and then the SA3 is full screen. He's still really solid epic grade farmer at the end of the day, and it's pretty much what you're going to be using him for epic grades strictly. Up next is going to be this past Yamamoto. He's a Brave Battle character, but like I stated before, Sajin is going to be permanently killing off this character because he cannot debuff, and also not having persistence right now is pretty much making this character almost unrunnable. Like, if you run into Orihime, this character is dead. If you run into Meninya, this character is dead. And if you run especially into Sajin, he's dead. So you have to pick your fights for when it comes to using this character overall, which is sad because his skills were also really good. He has Flurry +2 for the first 10 seconds, Flurry +1, so Flurry +3 basically. Also gets stronger when either enemies or allies are KO'd by 20%. Can prevent last ditch survival, decrease damage taken of -50%, Brave Battle invincibility, and can ignore Brave Battle invincibility, Pierce Barrier, and Poise. No affiliation with Captain Killer, debuff, and what else was it? He also had Marauder with paralysis immunity, sprint +1, and yeah, the kit doesn't really matter too much. 625 AoE distant attack, almost into a full screen lunge. He does debuff on the SA2, and then the SA3 is full screen. Doesn't really matter too much. If you want to use this character for inheritance trials, once enemy mobs are no affiliation, you guys can, because the guaranteed status element infliction against heart attribute no affiliation enemies is just so strong. It really is strong. But yeah, that's pretty much it about this character. Unfortunately, he is just not making a comeback in the meta. And the same thing can be said about Yuha. You need to pick your fights, but isn't gonna be as picky compared to using the past Yamamoto, because this guy is a heart no affiliation character, and the only thing that is killing off Yuha is mind characters. So let's say you have this character built up defensively when fighting against Orihime and Meninya. If you can at least get Orihime and Meninya to go down to 0 and activate the persistence, you basically have won, and you just let the other normal attacking characters do the job. And he is still the only relevant boosting character, but now that's going to get transferred over to the 1000-year blower Chad because he's a power character, and his boost is going to be completely blocked off by Sajin. So the one thing that he mattered for Brave Battles is completely gone now, which is very unfortunate because his skill set aged really well, because having Flurry +2, introducing the KO damage multiplier, and also being able to prevent last ditch and ignore Brave Battle invincibility, he kept up nicely for almost 2 years now, and now this character is basically gone. which is sad. Booster skill, debilitator of +5 seconds, enhancer +10, guard break. You guys get the point. He also has flurry +2 with poise, sprint +1, weaken immunity, and his kit was also great for the time too, like AoE in front, walking vortex like Sajin, and then the SA3 is full screen with paralysis and drain. So yeah, unfortunately this character is gone from the meta. This Uryu is a super link stop potion character, like I stated before. That being said, compared to the likes of Spirits Are Forever with Yugin, and of course the new premium Halibel, you need dupes invested into this character. If you at least have him 2-5, he'll be a lot more fun and usable. Otherwise, he is going to struggle against the bosses, and even then, you're only going to want to use this character if you have him action ascended. Let me just point that out right now, because he was the first character to get Guard Break plus Pierce Iron Skin, but only has Frenzy +1 with Berserker 60, Technique Attribute Character Strong Attack Damage of 20%, and Full Stamina Damage Boost of 20%. Only Frenzy +1, by the way. Does do some solid damage with nuking, but keep in mind, you have no ailments and no weaken defense, so like, his nuke isn't even that crazy good. And of course, is an ultimate farmer, because he can farm both Link Stop Potions, Super Pots, and Droplets. And he's still okay to use in epic raids. If you have him duped up, he'll be solid for the most part, but we just have better farmers at the end of the day. If you guys want to know his kit, 750 AoE in front, only the homing vortex on the SA2, and then the SA3 is full screen, and has Havoc of 20%, Team Party Stamina Recovery, and Sprinter +1, so yeah, he didn't age too well compared to Concord Ichigo, but you can still use him. He has Soul Reaper and Captain, so yeah. And then the last 4 characters are mainly going to be characters that have their resurrection. I'm only going to talk about Uetsu because this character is still the only solid unit to use for the likes of Melee Soul Reaper as a NAD character if you do not have Unohana with Shinji and Akon. If you have those characters, I'm gonna be honest, you're not going to be using Uetsu unless we get that same Nightmare GQ that we had with Kenny and Remy, and they doubled the HP threshold to like 90 million or whatever the stat it was. But he is still solid to use with Flurry +1, Bruiser 80% can boost on the SA2 and has a Walking Vortex, now is immune to Paralysis, and he actually aged pretty nicely as a NAD character. But if you have the likes of Spirit Society Chad, pretty much irrelevant, so it is what it is. This Ichibei sucks. He's unusable in Brave Battles. This Askin sucks. The one only good thing that he had was this, being able to provide an extra 20% more damage to Quincy's when inflicting ailments by 20%. But now that is pretty much given to Remy as the supporting character for all Quincy's and not just the technique ones, and it's by 30%. And considering these are same named skills, this is not going to stack with Remy. I hope you guys know that. So if you guys are thinking of using Askin for Guild Quest, just to buff whatever Quincy comes out that can inflict ailments, you can forget about it. He is just orbs, and his resurrection was not even good. And then Unohana, she's fallen off as a resurrection, so yeah. That is pretty much about it. Let me know how deep you guys are going to summon in the banner, or if you guys are going to be skipping. Personally, for me, I plan to do at least at the bare minimum 10 steps and see what I can get, and then save for the individuals directly, because I am not too big of a fan this time around. I like Part 1's banner a lot more compared to Part 2, but considering I'm going to need all 3 of these characters, yeah, I'm still gonna have to summon regardless, and the only dupes that I can pretty much make use out of is just this Mind, Yama, Chojuro, and Yua. The rest are pretty much 5-5. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys have enjoyed it, don't forget to smash that like button, share this video with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and hit the bell notification so that way you guys are up to date with my most recent videos. And before we end the video, there is also other stuff that is going to be coming once the 1,000 Year Blower campaign starts tomorrow. So for starters, this is going to be coming out, free Brave Battle selection summons, where it's going to mainly include Brave Battle characters, both 1,000 Year Blower premiums, and yeah, it's just mainly the only few 1,000 Year Blower characters that are Brave Battles, and of course the rest being premiums. It's only at a max of 5, so that's pretty much about it. It's only these characters right here. And then you're also going to be getting a free epic grade selection summons, which is also going to be 5 pulls only. Starts on August 10th up until the 19th. Senjumaru, Chojuro, and Eburn are featured, the only 1000 Year Blower characters, and then you have yourself other premiums and seasonal characters that you can actually pull from this selection of characters. So that's pretty much about it, and yeah, that's it. So yeah, y'all have a good one, and I hope to see you guys all in the next video. I don't plan to stream this time around. I'm gonna be out of my house, but I'll at least get my summons video out for sure within the next day. So have a wonderful day, lads. Peace out. Bye. Sayonara. Ciao, ciao.